We are an endangered species, you and I. We, lovers of speed. We, devotees of power, performance, noise. Go away, we are told. Take your carbon fiber, and your fire slowly dwells with. There's hardly any place for us out there, not amongst all the commuters and congestion. Not in this growing age of safety and restraint, where practicality trumps adrenaline, where the ratio of miles to the gallon is championed over horsepower to the weight. The evidence is everywhere. You and I are being squeezed out, pushed aside, and hunted down at every hairpin turn. And yet there is hope. There is a safe haven, a place where we are free to challenge conventions, push the laws of physics, drive our powerful, our beautiful machines hard. It's not a racetrack in Germany, or even a parking garage in Tokyo. It's not even a real place, actually. It's more than that. It's a communal celebration of horsepower, torque, turbos, grip leather, technology. Global nitrous. It's the last master combo of lust, and it's right there in your living room. Join us in Drift Crew.
So what you just watched right there was an original kind of promotional video I made for Drift Crew when we were really active in Rotorcraft. And it's really funny because if you remember around that kind of time, that was a kind of a homage to I think it was for Forza Horizon 3 or another ad where Jeremy Clarkson from Top Gear made a very similar ad for that game. And I wanted it to be like that, but for Drift Crew. So anyway, that's what that was all about. And then what I'm going to show you some stuff is, you know, where I've been. I have a lot of stuff for Drift Crew, the show, the game. I have some things up here that were my inspiration and that I dig back up and want to show you guys. And then I'm going to talk about where we're going forward with this. So first of all, where have I been? I pretty much the end of last year, and most of that year was dedicated towards restoring my dad's 1968 Cougar. And yeah, I mean, I was pretty much focused on getting that back to him, and I returned it to him pretty much late last year. I guess 1 full year after I had it. So I got it in October and returned in October 21. So pretty much like minimal develop was done on DCG, and so now I'm back and the holidays are over, so I wanted to kind of pick up where I left off and show where I'm going. But before I go into show you what I have now, I wanted to show my inspiration for the game, and that's from this really old game that I used to mod called Street Legal Racing Redline. And so I know I've kind of alluded to it, but here we go. So yeah, this game about to show you, it's like pretty hype because I remember putting this like song in here, and here, let me just get it started. So hopefully I don't get in trouble with the music. But like I coded this is a modded car and this like camera stuff in the menu. You know, I made all this kind of stuff happen, and it's got like, you know, remixed by me, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so like this is the kind of stuff I was doing back in 2016. And yeah, so I'm gonna show you some more mods. And yeah, I just wanted to show this like stuff with it. Oh, I thought that was so cool. But anyway, let's, you know, make a new career. You got the like this is from 2003, so you gotta remember this is in the era where street racing stuff was super cool and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, custom garage, and then you could go into your catalog, and it was all completely organized by like the different types of stuff. So like the game didn't originally do this organizing, because you know there's a lot of mods in here. You got some stuff from, you know, some LS3s, some Chrysler stuff. I mean, and I made sure all the mods worked. So I didn't want to like go in and have crappy stuff that crashed the game all the time. I added this ability for custom tire sizes. So you see this, it actually loads in the tires by size. Hopefully it doesn't crash when I do all these different. But yeah, that's all, you know, correct. And oh gosh, don't die, don't do it. It's lagging. Yep, and I made it so you could see everything, and so yeah, that worked. So this is a huge mod. I made sure that there's no like stock cars in the game, like the crappy stuff, and you know, you'd be able to buy a fully modded car, and it would come with like period correct stuff. So, and I tried to make like the colors kind of correct, I guess you could say. You know, you open up the motor, and it's got a 340. It actually has a 340 in it. And so I found a way to script in the parts that come when you go to a dealership. And so this whole experience is all about like, you know, part by part building, and you know, you got just took the cylinder head off, and you can take the whole engine off as an assembly, and I think like, what is it, the carburetor. So you do all this stuff depending on the quality and the level of detail of the mod. And so that's what I really want to capture with Drift Crew game. But the problem again is that this game is from 2003, so the engine's super limited with like the graphics and like the RAM it can handle, and everybody wants online, and everyone would say they had some like kind of online mod, and it never really worked. And so what I want to do is kind of like take this next level, and just, you know, to go into more of this, like I made all this stuff work. So you go into the dealer, and you know, it actually generate all the mods I put in the game, but like, see how the game just kind of like randomly makes different levels of disrepair vehicles, and you know, the prices are different right here, so you can pay more money for something that, you know, is broken, and it'll be like, it doesn't have a motor. Some of these will. This should have like a full, you know, kind of thing. So it's just like, I remember doing all this stuff, and you know, I filled out all this information, and so this is where I kind of came from. This is like where I started, and really kind of honed my skills when it came to coding. And this game was awesome back then, but the restrictions, the RAM, all that kind of stuff just was not conducive to making a game. So yeah, so this is all the modding I did on here, and you know, now I'll show you back to Drift Crew where I'm going now. We're gonna see what I got here. So actually, I think from the last time I posted a video, I've done so much, like add a UI and lots of parts. So as you can see here, I'm in the stages of adding all these individual parts. I have this really cool like ghost system to where, you know, if you select something, you can, you know, remove it. But what's going to be different here is, like in another game, you have like an inventory at the bottom of the screen, and the problem with that is that I don't really want like you to have an inventory. I want you to like have like a workbench or kits and stuff, and like if it's on the car, then it's going to go onto like a workbench or a engine stand, and then I want you to be able to save these engine stands. So it's just gonna have like a different feel to it, and then you're also gonna be able to make your own kits, which were a feature in another game, but they always were broken. So I kind of want the feel to be a little bit different, but like here you can see I got an engine block, and if I go into you know, engine, it's all the engine stuff here, but that should work. There we go. So like you're not supposed to be able to rotate it, obviously, but yeah, I put the heads on, and then you can you know, put the cams on. Anyway, you can do a full engine, but you know, to save time, I'm not gonna go over that. But the big thing I've been working on as of lately is like this suspension stuff. So you know, you put like a subframe down, and it should like kind of push it off the ground a little bit, and then we're gonna do a little bit of A-arms and whatnot. And as you can see how they're like not symmetrical, but they, you know, automatically configure themselves. So that's something I wanted to actually get. You know, these parts are a little bit more polished than like the motor stuff right now, because I learned a lot of stuff on the way. But you know, I want you to be able to do all this stuff. There will be like brake calipers, and then I'm gonna separate this by like tire packages and whatnot. And eventually you'll be able to tune it in place. So you hit like the T button or something, and you'll be able to have like a menu come up or some gizmos, and change the size of the wheel, or like eventually this suspension stuff will kind of self-configure, and then you can do like camber and caster. And so anyway, I'm really trying to capture all this in the essence of the game I showed you with SLRR, but I also let's see, it's good. 1 second, there we go. I want to have like that whole ability to have a lot more customization and better physics, and then eventually online. So I just want to kind of show off what I have here. This is the year I want to make all this kind of stuff happen. And as you can see, I've added like a lot of detail to this. You know, for the spring, you'll be able to, you know, put that on here, and eventually you'll be able to you know, adjust the height, and the spring will kind of like do it's not an animation, it'll kind of have the bones on there, and have it'll look like a spring and doing its thing. I have some early videos showing off a live rear axle, but I really want to capture, you know, building a full axle setup as well. So you're gonna see things like a Watts link, and Panhard bars, and leaf springs, and 4-links, and all that kind of fun stuff. But like no other racing game have I seen you able to set up a full live axle setup, let alone like do it from scratch. And so the final thing, and I kind of touched on it, is like the kits. I want the kits to be like its own subset of things that you can either make or have pre-made, where you'll get like the whole package, like a lower A-arm, this upper strut mount, then all the stuff here on this corner, but like you get it all at the same time, and you just place it, and then it just works. So I want to have kits as well, so that you have a more user-friendly experience, and overall like it's like, you know, really user-friendly. So that's that. I also kind of like added a UI, which is kind of a big deal. I have these different settings, like potato setting and high definition. It's kind of wonky because it's an editor right now. You can list your moves here. You can adjust how sensitivity stuff is. You know, overall, I didn't have any of this stuff before. Oh gosh, that's like way too sensitive. So we're gonna move that all the way down. So there you go. And then like, you know, collisions inside of here, and then also like this high definition lighting system. So overall, like I feel like I'm really far through a lot of the development of the foundation of the game. And so what I'm hoping here is this year I can finish all these little features. If you go to the Drift Crew server, you can follow my progress. I deleted all the old builds because they all kind of like were crappy and they didn't reflect where I am now. And they're like, I put a lot of effort into them. I thought it was like cool to like preview it, but honestly they're so broken. I remember I was sitting down with a friend and we were going over like how the game felt, and it was like actively making him angry because it was just so not intuitive. So I'm trying to change all that here with like, you know, these cool visual effects and, you know, menus that make sense, and like the garage interface is super cool. And so you can see all this stuff just kind of works, and you know, it took a long time to get this stuff to not be like super buggy. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at, and then where I'm going is obviously I'm going to be trying to get this full featured of all the parts out in like a playable demo. So much like with my friend reviewing it and saying it was like actively making him angry, I want to get to that point again with all the parts and making everything right, and then seeing if it still makes people actively angry and not intuitive. And then once I pass that step, I've already made a server system. So what I'll show here is I got this little video of me actually making something move over the network. Alright, this is the official server test for Drift Crew game. On the left here I have the server, and on the right I have the client. These are running their own computers, and then on the left here I'm using TCP connection with port forwarding. So this is not like a LAN connection, it's actually going out through the network, and I've also tested it with other external means. So here I can test the server will start up, and then it'll start looking for connections, and then if I come over here, we're gonna start connecting, and then once it starts playing, you can see that this stopped going crazy. And then this is where the magic happens. You can see, hopefully this will stop that. I can move that, and then, yep, we're transferring position. We're gonna go up and down, and boom, yep, here we go. So I've officially made the connection. Now I just need to make sure I can create different instances of different client connections, and then from there I almost got it. And so I've already done that, so I know how to make a server, and I have the net code, and I just have to, you know, the way that I made my cars, the file system for it is really compact, and like it doesn't actually save it as the assets. It saves it as like an instruction set on how to build the car. And so that compressed information is very small, and something I just need to transfer over the network, and then the other client, like one client sends that build list, and then another one builds it, and then you simulate the opponent on the client, and I'll have online. So my online system's pretty simple, as you've seen, and yeah, so from there we'll have online. It'll have like little events, and really trying to make sure this game's like got like a really good feel to it. And of course, you know, if you're gonna be called Drift Crew game, you're gonna be able to have to drift, stuff like that. I want off-roading, and eventually motorcycles, which will be super cool. I already have like a system for motorcycles, but that's like super in the future when everything else is working. So yeah, this has been F4JH Racing, and I hope you like what you see, and you know, give me some support, check out the Discord, and have a good one.